Very welcome. I'm going to try to add a couple of rooms and explain my design technique for a game in pt1 using JavaScript and kind of simulating the game Adventure from Atari. So here's my my starting screen. I just got this blue backdrop. I control it with the arrows. I control this thing, a little rectangle, and simply all I have currently is that when I leave a screen, I just push to the other side of the screen. All right, so if I leave the top, I come to the bottom. If I leave the left, I go to the right, etc. Okay, I kind of want to have this plan right here, so I'm going to have a room, and this is where I'm going to start. And I'm going to build off of that and see, well, first I'll load up that start, okay? So I'm going to create a variable called rooms. Eventually this is going to become an array, a two-dimensional array. As it stands right now, I'm just going to leave it as a variable. And inside my draw, which is the function that loops all the time, I need to, and then inside a file called room.js, I kind of keep control or design all my rooms. Don't forget to add it in your index.html. So I've got this file right here, room.js, because I've added it in index. All right, so now in my room.js, I've got these rooms I've already coded up and drawn. And I've got this one that says, hey, go fill up all the rooms. Go like fill them and populate them. So I'm going to make sure I call that in the setup. So a reminder, the setup is like a constructor. It gets called one time. So in here, I'm going to say fill rooms. All right, so that function is going to get called from the room.js file. And as it stands right now, we're going to say rooms, is equal to, and I'm going to put it to my start room here. Start room. And simply in my start room, all I've got is, I've got an array, and I push 1, 2, 3, 4 walls on it. Okay, so I push 4 walls. Now if I play this, there it is. I've got 4 walls on my design, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can still drive around. Nothing really happens. I do have collision on the walls. If I go off the top, boom, I go off the bottom. All right, sounds good. Next, I go back to my planning. I'm going to design a room to the right. So I'm going to add a room over here. Of course, it actually physically isn't like I'm adding a room. It is simply that I'm just going to like change my player around and draw it and draw some walls on this new room. I'm going to try to make it so that it can go back and forth between the two. Okay, so I got my start and then my room. So I'm going to use a two-dimensional array for that. So now inside my rooms, when I go to declare on my sketch file here, right now room's a variable. I want to change that to an array. So by doing this, I'm telling them saying, hey, I want rooms to be an array of objects. Okay, so I want 2 objects. So now let's go to our rooms. Remember, we fill up the rooms. So let's go to fill rooms, and that is in rooms. So right now it's just a start room. We want to change this into an array. So we're going to say boom, enter, and then here's our array currently empty. I don't want to put 2 objects in it. The first object I want is my start room. So I'm going to call start room, and then I'm going to put comma. Oh, I spelled start wrong, didn't I? Strat-rart. Okay, and then comma, I want to push, did I say what I wanted this room to be? Oh, I said start. Let's put a key in this room. So I'm just going to call this, hey, this is my key room. And I'm going to remember later to put a key in that room, all right? You can call this whatever you want. You want to call it the kitchen. You want to call it the den. You want to call it a dungeon. You want to call it a battle. You want to call it boss 1. You can name, the naming convention is up to you to decide. I used this, so I got my start room here, whoop, and I got my blank room, no, not blank room, key room. So I actually called it key room, and just as before, I define it as a function. I'll leave this here if you're trying to code it up, you can. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 5 walls inside this key room, and I want to put it just to the right of my start room. Okay, so I want to type in key room. All right, boom. So now I've got these 2 rooms inside this array called rooms, and I've got 2 objects in it. And I just want to go over how I would address these right now. So if I want to get access to them, if I want their index, I'm just going to grab this, give me a sec here. I'm just going to grab a pencil tool and show you the address and the location of how to access these 2 indexes in your array. So this is actually, if you think of rooms, it is now, I guess, this object right here is at spot 0. Because it's the first object. And then inside of it, this thing right here would be index 0, and this would be index 1. So this is kind of my first dimension. And then my second dimension, if I called 0, 0, this room would get drawn. If I called 0, 1, then this would get drawn. And think of, again, one more time, I'm going to try to, this is 0 inside this array, and that kind of this red one here. And then in the next array, it's an array within an array, this is index 0 of the second array. And this is index 1 of the second array. Okay? This convoluted drawing, I apologize, it might make a little bit more sense as I code it up here. So, no stroke. So inside my draw function, let's go back to, sketch. Inside of our draw, so I fill the rooms, and now I want to call the function within the array. So I'm going to come back here. So notice rooms is an array. It's full of 2 functions. So I need to call one of those 2 functions. Okay? So let's just try calling room 0, 0. Okay, so we'll go rooms, I got this right, rooms at index 0, 0 dot call. So we're calling, it's like saying we're calling the function at the location 0, 0 in rooms, which should be my start room. Let's double check that I got this right. Whoop. Oh, I got it. Kind of call reading a call undefined. Did I fill the rooms? I did fill the rooms. Give me a second here. Start room, key room. Got a typo. Start room, key room. No. Fill rooms. Did I fill the rooms? Sketch. filled the rooms. Why is it empty? Give me a sec here, folks.